Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Lisa.
And this is your Behavior Tip of the Week. So our topic for today is teaching versus telling.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Important.
So how do you teach behavior? There is a difference, guys, between teaching and telling.
Very big difference.
When we teach, we're really arranging contingencies to have an effect on a learner. That's pretty technical behavioral terms, but what does that mean? That means we use strategies, we break it down, we utilize materials, we create procedures and we teach them. We maybe have some visuals, things like that. Those are all parts of how we teach. And how we tell is just verbally stating what a child should do.
Just telling them.
You should take a break.
But how do I do that?
I don't know. I have to teach you.
All right. So let's look at an example of teaching versus telling.
So for academics, let's start there. We got academics and behavior. I feel like academics, maybe a little easier to grasp. Okay. So telling would be, okay, class, 2 times 2 equals 4. Say that with me. 2 times 2 equals 4. That is telling. Okay. Now, if I want to teach that, I would maybe say something like, if I want to know 2 times 2, I can make 2 groups with 2 circles in each group. And maybe I'm showing them this with manipulatives or drawing it on the board or something like that. Then I can count by 2s, 2, 4, or I can count them all to find the answer. So let's do that together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 times 2 equals 4. So that is how the difference between telling and teaching when it comes to a very simple skill, like multiplication.
But important skill, right?
Yes.
All right. So then in behavior, you really can do the same thing with your students. And I think a lot of times we lean towards the telling side on behavior
for sure,
because we think like our kids should already know how to do this skill, right? Like it's just a part of our classroom rules. But some of your students really do need that breakdown and the teaching of behavior. So instead of just telling them, when you come into class, go to your seat. Some of your kids will.
Yeah.
But the ones that don't, you might want to take a step back and say, okay, this is a skill I need to teach. So how could I teach that skill? I could say something like, in our class, when we enter the room, we walk straight to our seat. Watch me do it first. And then I'm going to stand up and walk to my seat and show them. Now let's watch Lisa do it. And Lisa's going to stand up and walk to her seat, right? And then I'm going to say, okay, now you get to try. I might give multiple students the opportunity to practice that, to rehearse that. If they do it correct, I'm going to give that specific positive praise, right? Excellent work, going straight to your seat. I love the way you walk to your seat without touching anybody else's stuff, whatever it is, right? And if they do it incorrect, let's say they do a ninja roll or a move or they're touching somebody on their way. I might say, okay, we're going to reset. We're going to try that again. Repeat what I do. I'm going to model it. Then we can do it together and then have them do it on their own. So just like we do that, I do, we do, you do in our academic settings, you can do the same thing for behavior. And listen, guys, I know sometimes it sounds like silly, like, yeah, they should know how to walk to their seat. But some of your kids really do need that explicit instruction because what they're doing has been working for them. And maybe it gets them a little bit more attention or a little bit more time away from that task. So it's important to think about those skills that your kiddos need and really how can I break it down and teach it?
And I think, some teachers might say like, well, that takes too much time. I don't have time. I have like I got scope and sequence and pace and I don't have time to do that. Or I teach older kids, like they should know how to do that. Because here's the thing, this is an investment. And when you invest your time, a little bit of time, this whole teaching procedure is not something that you're going to have to do every single day. But when you do it consistently for a while, then eventually you'll be able to go to, when we get in class, go to your seat and they will do it because you invested the time to teach that and to reinforce it and things like that. So just like we would take the time to teach that 2 times 2 equals 4, because we know our kids need to understand the concept of it and the process of it. We have to think about that with behavior too. And we have to be willing to invest a little bit of our time so we get more instructional time on the other side of things.
Yeah, so valuable. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next week for your behavior tip of the week.
Bye.